You know, it's so easy to get obsessed with what we achieve in our
Truly,
lives,
what
right?
you
Our
want
titles,
to
our
do.
targets, climbing that next rung on the ladder. But what if the more important question isn't about what we're doing, but who we are becoming? Today, we're going to explore this idea, the sacred architecture of our own growth, and how shifting our focus from doing to being can literally change everything.
So, let's just start with this
Who
question.
you were
Just think
then
about it for a second.
and
What if every
who
single journey
you
we
are
take,
now.
whether it's flying across the world, starting a new project at work, or even just our day-to-day routine, isn't just something we do, but is actually a mirror, reflecting back at us who we're evolving into? It's a powerful way to frame what's coming next.
The spark for this whole idea didn't come from a boardroom or a workshop. It actually happened at the Sri Varahaswamy Temple. The story goes that there was this moment of just profound quiet, where the whole experience switched from being a trip to being about pure awareness, a kind of stillness that just opened the door to a really critical insight.
And that moment of
Oh,
stillness
truth
really
that
puts
you
a
need to
spotlight
hear
on a
today.
struggle I think many of us know all too well, especially when we're in the middle of our careers. We get caught in the chase, that constant, restless push for what's next. It's a totally universal feeling, this sense that we should always be doing more.
And this really boils down to
Do you
two
feel
very different
when you
paths.
visit a temple?
On the one hand, you've got chasing outcomes. This is the endless hunt for new roles, more recognition, constant expansion. I mean, that's kind of the default mode for so many of us, right? But on the other hand, there's a totally different approach. Cultivating being. This is all about focusing on your presence, on your internal alignment, and on a much deeper self-awareness. And this idea of presence was just perfectly on display with the people at the
People
temple's sacred
or
water tank, the Pushkarini.
purpose
I mean, there was no
of your
rush.
life?
There was no noise. No one was comparing themselves to anyone else. It was just presence, just alignment. It was like a masterclass in simply being, which is such a huge contrast to our often crazy, frenzied professional lives.
Seeing this profound sense of peace,
People
it
pleasing
led to this huge
or
shift in perspective, a core
purpose
realization that's really at the
of your
heart of
life?
this entire idea.
You don't receive what you
Journey
want.
might
You
be
receive what you
shaping
are.
you for something
Just
else.
let that sink in for a minute. What this is suggesting is that our outcomes, the reality we actually experience, are a direct reflection of our internal state. It's not just about our ambitious goals or how hard we hustle.
So okay,
Journey
if that's
might
true,
be
then the next
shaping
logical
you for
question has to
something
be,
else.
well, how do we build that inner state? How do we become the conscious architects of our own growth?
This forces us to ask some really critical questions.
Journey might
And it starts with
be
this one.
shaping you
Are we
for something
truly building our
else.
lives, making conscious choices every day? Or are we more like passengers, just kind of moving along a track that was laid down for us by other people's expectations and circumstances? And to take that even one step further, are we actively choosing our direction, our trajectory? Or are we just living in a state of constant reaction, letting emails, meetings, and other people's priorities dictate our path? That distinction, it is absolutely crucial. And this brings us right to the idea of conscious
Stop
growth.
doing this
See, this is
if
the
you
kind of
want
growth
to
that
grow.
doesn't just happen to you by accident. It's something that you intentionally shape day by day, choice by choice. It's about being the sculptor, not just the stone. And the difference
What
is
is
pretty
that
stark when
one
you look at it like
choice
this.
that shapes
Accidental
your
growth
life?
is all driven by reaction and circumstances. Its focus is always just on the next step. But conscious growth, that's driven by our daily choices, by our presence, and its focus is on deep internal alignment. So take a look. Which one of these columns feels a little more familiar to you right now? Which all really funnels down into this
Success
huge
is not a
question
strategy,
for anybody
it's an
interested in
identity.
growth. We get so focused on the destination, right? But we rarely stop to ask if the person we are today, our current habits, our mindset, our identity, is even capable of getting there. Is there a gap between who you are and who you need to be? And we have to acknowledge, this work isn't simple.
Success is
Wisdom
not a strategy,
traditions, like the
it is
epic
an
stories in
identity.
the Mahabharata, have been teaching this for centuries. Life is messy. It is not a straight line from point A to point B. It's complex, it's all interconnected, and it's often full of contradictions. But even inside all of that complexity,
Down.
this is the simple,
This one
guiding
thing
truth that we can hold on
might
to.
shape
This is
your
the
life.
core message, really. What you cultivate inside yourself directly and powerfully creates the world you experience on the outside. Okay, so let's bring all this together with
Answer
one
this
final and maybe the most
honestly.
important reflection. It's about fundamentally shifting the main question that we ask ourselves about our lives and our work.
So here we are, at this fundamental fork in the road of self-inquiry. I mean, we are all conditioned to be obsessed with the question on the left. What am I achieving? It's all about those external results. But what happens if we shift our focus? If we put all our energy into the question on the right, who am I becoming? That one single change, it reorients everything toward internal transformation.
Because here's the thing. The answer to that question, the one about who you are consciously becoming, it truly does shape everything else. Your achievements, your relationships, your impact on the world, it all flows from the person you are intentionally building yourself to be.
So I'm going to leave you with this to carry forward. The next time you're chasing a goal or you're navigating a challenge, whether it's big or small, just pause for a second and ask yourself, who am I becoming through this? The answer you find might just be the most valuable thing you discover. Thanks for joining me.
If any of this resonates with you, then you can join our Sunday session, which happens at 3:30 p.m. every Sunday. And we discuss there about the roadmap that each person, a mid-career professional, has given their circumstances and choices of life. So I'll see you there. And there is a WhatsApp link also is there given below the video, which you can use to join our community. See you there on Sunday.